Nothing happened here. Well, what's going on, people? This your man, Big B. I have no idea why everything didn't go off the way it was supposed to go off, but either way, this your man, Big B, and welcome to Steelers Almighty. I appreciate everybody being in there. This is wild. Just got into the room, so I appreciate you guys showing up. We got a lot to cover, a lot to talk about today. Man, is there some things going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers? Cam Heyward got his deal. We're going to talk about that. Skoranek gets added to the practice squad. Don't be surprised, people, if he plays on Sunday. Just do not be surprised. But so we're going to cover all that and more today, man. It was kind of just an impromptu edition of Steelers Almighty. So I wanted to get in and talk to you guys about it. Again, as always, remember to like, follow, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Steelers Almighty, fastest growing Steelers channel on YouTube. We appreciate all the support. We appreciate you guys being in here. What is going on? And again, I apologize at the beginning. Usually gives me a notification and nothing came on. So it is what it is. Bottom line is, let's talk some Steelers, man. So Cam Heyward gets his deal, and I need to know how you guys feel about it. 3 years, $45 million. They talk about that he got a $16 million guarantee, $29 million in new money. So unless somebody tells me otherwise, which I've kind of went on a rampage and asked several different people, looked it up myself, it basically means he got a 1-year extension. Is that he got extra money for this year. So they talk about $29 million in new money because he was going to get $16 million this year. So it's technically a 1-year extension. Look, I'm glad that Cam is going to retire a Steeler. I'm overjoyed. But if you actually dig into the minutia of the actual cap hits, if he stays all 3 years, at the end of this, he's going to be a 38-year-old with a $20 million cap hit. I mean, is that what we're doing in Pittsburgh? 38-year-old defensive tackles with a $20 million cap hit? Come on, man. Like I said, I'm glad that he's retiring a Steeler, but why do we have to be the franchise that is always loyal to a fault? And make no mistake about this. This is being loyal to a fault. Do I think Cam can have a good year this year? Yeah, I think he can. Do I think Cam's going to have a good year 3 years from now? No, I don't. And if he sticks around, he's going to be $20 million against our cap. I mean, that's what it is. I don't know. I don't know. Now, again, some of that could probably be cut down if he gets cut after June 1st. You know, maybe it gets cut in half. That's still $10 million against the cap for a 38-year-old defensive tackle. I don't know. Like I said, I think Cam's great. I want Cam to have a great year. He is a Steeler through and through. But just because you're a Steeler, I mean, they traded Franco Harris, or they let Franco Harris go. They got rid of him. Wasn't he a Steeler through and through? I mean, it's not like the Steelers are the only franchise that you have to stay no matter what. Sooner or later, you don't have to stay. You don't have to be here sooner or later. And I just think, you know, like I don't know. I thought it was nuts that we're giving them $16 million this year. I thought, hey, man, we can string this out, give them an extension, you know, spread it out over 2 years and say, we love you, Cam, but this is all the money you can get. Well, that's not what happened. 3 years, $45 million, $16 million of it guaranteed, 29 in new money, which basically means he gets this year and he's going to get next year. I just, whatever. And for the hardcore Steeler fans, which I think we all are, at what point do we say, why can't we spend this money on the offensive side of the football? You're telling me that we couldn't go spend this money on other players? Like, look at the wide receiver room. I'm not saying there was a million guys out there. I'm not saying we had to go spend $30 million on Brandon Ayuk, which I thought would have been a mistake. but there's other guys that were available that we could have spent some money on. Like, when do we get to do that, man? That's all I'm asking. Is when do we spend the money on that side of the football? Is it coming up? Like, I know we're going to re-sign Pat Freiermuth here in the next few days. If that doesn't happen, if they don't extend Freiermuth in the next few days before the season, it's a travesty. You'd rather keep a 35-year-old defensive tackle than your tight end that's just coming into his prime in an offense that loves utilizing tight ends? Whew. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's all I know. I think we got to be better. I think we got to be better. At some point, the Steelers got to be. Look, I'm just going to say it. I'm against it. I'm against it. And you could say, Big B, you're wrong. Cam's great. Cam's going to have a great year. All that's fine. Number one, I hope that he does have a great year. But I'm still against it. I'm against it. You don't pay defensive tackles at that age that kind of money. Where else was Cam going to go get that kind of money, man? Nobody was going to give him that. Nobody. But it is what it is. He's signed, and we can't do anything about it, even if we wanted to do anything about it. And again, I'm not mad at Cam for getting his money. You know, I'm not a pocket watcher. I'm not that guy. I just think the Steelers could have better off giving that money other places, especially on the offensive side of the football. That's all. That's all I'm saying. So, but it is what it is. Now go out and have that great season. Go out and have that great year. That's what I'm looking forward to. Go out and have that great season. But we'll see. We'll see. And it starts on Sunday. I don't need you to ease into the season or anything like that. No. There's no easing into the season. It's right now. Go out there and be dominant right now. So, my man Jake Russell here. He says, all love for Cam, but that's ridiculous amount of money for him being as old as he is. That's all I'm saying. People are going to think that I'm hating on Cam or I'm pocket watching Cam. I think Cam should get every single dollar that he could possibly get. I'm not that guy. I don't look at other people's pocket. That has nothing to do with this. It does have to do with the Steelers being foolish on how they're spending their money when they refuse to put some of it on the offensive side of the football. I mean, you're telling me that you could, and let me just ask you guys this question. And again, I want just answer the question honestly. Do you think it's more wise to give Cam Heyward at 35 at defensive tackle a $16 million guarantee with an extra, basically a 2-year extension from this year and next year, so he gets an extension? You think it was wise to give him $29 extra million or pick up Najee Harris's $6.7 million 5th-year option? That's all I'm saying. What do you think is the better move for the Pittsburgh Steelers? $6.7 million for a guy that doesn't fumble, has run really hard behind bad offensive lines and a horrible offensive play calling. You're telling me that that's the move? I don't know. Somebody's asking, what would I say a good number was? I thought they should tell Cam, look, we'll give you a total of $20 million. That includes your $16 million you're guaranteed for this year. We'll spread it out over 2 years. That's all you get. Take it or leave it. Not $29 million. Come on, man. Ugh. But like I said, it's done. The deal is done. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't agree with it. It has nothing to do with me hating Cam, thinking Cam's going to play bad. I just think for all practical purposes, that's not what good franchises do. They don't pay their older football players that kind of money at that position. They just don't do that. They don't do that. And if Cam wanted to play football, like I even heard reports yesterday, oh, he's going to sign for another, 10, 12 million. I was like, 10 or 12 million? Who's doing that? Turns out the Steelers are. I was wrong. I was wrong. Ah. But it is what it is. It is what it is. We got him in. It's time for him to play big. He sat out all preseason. He didn't do a whole lot during the preseason. It's time for him to play big. It's time. It's just time. It's time. Show us all. Prove me wrong. I have no problems eating crow. I have no problems being wrong, man. No problems being wrong. Go out and prove me wrong, Cam, because if you prove me wrong, that means you're playing well. And that means you've been worth the money. Fine. I'll deal with it. I can be wrong as long as the Steelers are playing good. I can absolutely be wrong. Crazy, though. Offense at some point's got to be the priority. At some point. Man, let's move on. Ben Skoranek. Look, this is kind of a low-end deal that not a lot of people are talking about. Steelers added him to the practice squad. This is a big deal, Steeler fans. This is a big deal. This is a guy, he's like 6'2", 6'3", 225, 230 pounds. This is a big deal. Wide receiver. Played well. Before Puka Nacua got to the Rams, he got a lot of run. He's a big, physical wide receiver. Big, physical wide receiver. I'm not saying that, he's going to go out there and get 65 balls for, 800 yards. I'm not saying anything crazy like that. But number one, he's an outstanding blocker, and he's a bigger body, something that the Steelers do not have. I said it at the opening. I'll say it again. Don't be surprised if Ben Skoranek doesn't suit up for the Steelers on Sunday. Don't be surprised. I'm telling you that right now. Do not be surprised if you don't see him in the lineup at some point on Sunday. Arthur Smith offense loves wide receivers that can block. This is a wide receiver that can block and loves it. Loves it. So do not be surprised if you don't see this young man in the lineup at some point on Sunday, because I think he will. If he can learn the offense, yeah, I think he will. I think he absolutely will. So we'll see what's happening. Remember, Steelers Almighty, man. Thanks, everybody, for the support. Fastest growing Steelers channel on YouTube. We appreciate all that. Several different ways that you guys can help support the show, and we appreciate all of them. Super chats, obviously, are wide open as of now. You see down on the screen, Venmo as well as Cash App are also available. You can do that as well. But you can like, follow, subscribe, comment, anything to help support the channel. We appreciate it, man. So thank you guys a lot for doing that. And look, we got the podcast coming out tomorrow. Make sure you guys check that out. But the pregame, first of all, our scouting report is coming out on Friday. And then the pregame and postgame on Sunday, man. The pregame is going to be live. I'm just telling y'all now. We're going to be right here live before the game, an hour before the game, and we're going to go right up to kickoff. Make sure you are here. Make sure you are here, because that's what's happening on Sunday. Pregame and postgame. Pregame all the way up to kickoff. Postgame will be 15 minutes after the game is over. We will be going live right here. Make sure you guys get this number down and call in. 412-444-8390. That's 412-444-8390. Make sure you leave your name, your email address, where you're calling from, and your YouTube user ID number so we can listen to all of these rants, statements, whatever you got. Get it off your chest. Let's talk some Steelers, man. Make sure you call in and leave that message. And then that way I can go through all the messages and bring you up on the Wednesday podcast. So we appreciate everybody for doing that, man. So make sure you guys start calling in. So what do we got? What do we got, everybody? We got Cam. We saw that. Mike Tomlin. Let's talk about what Mike Tomlin said today in his press conference. His first, technically his first press conference of the season. Couple of things that I got out of it. Couple of things. The first one, we still don't know who's going to be the right or left tackle. Troy Fautanu was out at practice on Monday, looked good, did some stuff, and he still hasn't said whether he's going to be available or not, although he said he thought he would be available. Well, we talked about that, and my thinking is if he's going to be available, why is it? Would he be the starter? Should he be the starter? I'm thinking, yeah, but maybe they don't do that because he's a rookie. I don't know. But we'll see. We will see which is which. We'll see what exactly happens there. So Jaylen Warren, he said the same thing. His availability is going to depend on his availability on how, in Mike Tomlin terms, on how the labor, was distributed as far as the running back splits. 60-40 Najee, I would like that. Maybe 65-35 if Jalen still is 75-85%. I don't know. We'll see. So I definitely like that aspect of it. We'll check all that out. The one thing that I did not like that he said, he was basically just said Beanie Bishop hadn't shown him that he can play, that he can be the slot corner. He basically came, without saying it, he came out and told us that. And that part, I was just like, oh, man, that stinks. And it leads me to believe if there's somebody that gets kicked off the 53-man roster and somebody needs to get picked up, Beanie Bishop might be at the very top of that list. He might be at the very top, which would be disheartening. But, I mean, that part is what it is. But, yeah, Tomlin came out and just kind of said, yeah, he hadn't shown us what we need to see for him to have that job, and that's troubling for an undrafted free agent. You made the 53 initially. That doesn't mean you're going to be on it for very long if you can't go win the job, man. So, and he said they gave him ample opportunities. That's what they provide in practice, opportunities to move up the depth chart, and he has not done that, which is troubling. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Beanie Bishop. But yeah, those are some of the takeaways that I had from Mike Tomlin's press conference today. It was a little ugly. But back to the big news of the day, Cam Heyward gets his deal, 3 years, $45 million, $16 million signing bonus, or $60 million guaranteed, I should say, with $29 million in new money. Basically means he got an extension. He was already getting 16 this year. He got an extension for next year of guaranteed money, or new money, we should say. So we'll see how all that plays out. Again, we need to get even more of the details because all that isn't necessarily out yet, but we'll get a little bit more of those details as they come forth. But I've said it, I'm against the deal. I'm against the deal. And that doesn't mean that I'm against Cam Heyward retiring as a Steeler. I'm not against that. I'm not against Cam Heyward getting every single dollar that he could possibly get. I think every football player should get every dollar they could possibly get. I think every person, for that matter, should get every dollar. Not just football player. I think every person should be able to get every single dollar that they could possibly get. However, I root for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and for us to be good, some of this money that they're throwing around, it eventually has to go to the offensive side. So, again, I think Freiermuth gets his deal. I think he ends up getting a deal before the season starts. But I think we already knew that. I just think some of the money that they spent on Cam Heyward, they could have went out and paid and gotten some better players on the offensive side. They could have gotten better receivers. They could have gotten other things. I believe that to be true. That's just me, though. If you disagree, I totally understand. I'm not mad at you for disagreeing. I'm never going to be mad at you for disagreeing. People are allowed to disagree. Doesn't mean we hate each other. Doesn't mean we have to be disrespectful. It just means we just don't agree. So, and somebody said, who's better out there? You don't think there were better receivers out there in the free agent market while we were signing free agents? You don't think there were better guys out there? There were plenty of guys. Now, not better right this very second, but This money wasn't just available right now. We do know that, right? So there were plenty of players out there that were better. So plenty of people out there that were better. So plenty of people. So I know you're in here to be disrespectful. I get it. And you don't watch a whole lot of football. I get that too. So, but at the same time, because anybody that comes in and puts LOL after the stuff that they say, we just can't take those people seriously, guys. We get it. We get it, man. We get it. We get it. So, my man Self-Made, what's going on, brother? I like it, but it hurt us in the long run. Yeah, I think it might. So, I think it just might. So, we'll see, though. We'll see. We will see. I'm against it. And again, it's not against Cam. The Steelers just could have used the money better. They could have gotten receivers. They could have got linemen. They could have done anything. So, but here's where we are. Now he's got to go out there and prove it. Got to go out there and say, you know what? It doesn't matter that I'm 35. I'm still a dominant force in this league like I was 2 years ago. Perfect. So, perfect. I think that's great. I think that's perfect. So, I think it's perfect. I think it's perfect. We'll find out, though. We'll find out. We will find out exactly what's going on with Cam. We'll find out. It's just, I don't know. At some point, like I said, we got to spend some of this money on the other side of the football. Hopefully it starts with Pat Freiermuth. But they're in another team in the National Football League that's going to give this kind of money to a 35-year-old defensive tackle. They're just not. That ain't happening. That is not happening. But the Steelers did. And don't get me wrong, the Steelers had the money. I mean, it's not like they didn't have. I mean, they're way under the cap. So they had the money, you know. So it's not a matter of, oh, man, we had to do this to save money and change it to this. No, they didn't have to do that. They just chose to. So all I know is that there is a ton. There's I shouldn't say a ton. The exact opposite. There is nobody else that would have done this. Nobody else is doing this. So nobody. But we'll see. We'll see if it works out, man. We'll see if it works out. You know, hopefully it does. And again, I don't mind being wrong. I can be wrong. So I can be wrong. I can be 100% wrong. And if I am, you know what that means? That means the Steelers are playing well. And isn't that what we all want for the Steelers to play well? You know, that's all we want. That's all I want. My man Jake Brown says, I feel like the Steelers missed a lot of opportunities putting focus on Brandon Ayuk. Yeah, I think so too. So, I think so too. So we'll see. And the whole Brandon Ayuk thing was just troubling to me. It was just troubling to me. So it was wild to me that the Steelers would put ourselves in that position or that situation. It just didn't make sense. I mean, I've said this on several occasions, and I believe it to be true. The Steelers were literally the side piece. I mean, we got played. I mean, he had no intention of coming to Pittsburgh. Absolutely none. And yet, it was almost like we waited for that to try to happen when it was never going to happen. They were never going to leave San Francisco. He just wanted the money that he wanted. They offered it to him, and then there we go. So, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Now, here's a comment here. Can't have it both ways. We go after a premium guy and you cry. You don't get him and we cry. No, the Steelers never had a chance to get Brandon Ayuk. So that would be number one. If they had a chance to get him, then you get him. So it's not, hey, we're going after him. It's if you have a chance to get him, you get him. You pay him what he wants and you get him. Period. You don't go cheat by saying, well, we'll give you a third or fourth rounder and give you $26 million. He didn't want that. You knew what he wanted. If you wanted Brandon Ayuk, you go get him. The Steelers didn't offer him that. And even at that, he was never going to leave. So, never going to leave. But it is what it is. No, he was never going to leave. He was never going to leave. Because they offered him $30 million. He just wanted extra money in his guarantee. He wanted the verbiage to be right. When he got it right, he took exactly what San Francisco offered initially. So it's always something from people. Let's see. Exactly. He's on a Super Bowl team and getting $30 million. He was going to leave that? Nope. So it's crazy. Oh my God. Big maybe. And Duke, you're going to unsubscribe? Well, okay, just go. We're good. We're good, my man. Exactly. New England offered him a ton of money. He didn't want to be there. He wanted to be with a winner. He was never leaving. And as much as we hate Cleveland and as much as we make fun of Cleveland, Cleveland's got a good football team. And they offered him a ton of money. He didn't want to leave. Didn't want to leave San Francisco. I mean, it's that simple. Didn't want to leave. We'll find out about Cam, though. We'll find out. So we'll see what he does. Again, I'm glad he got his money. I just think the Steelers could have done something else. I think they could have done something else. Other winning franchises don't make this move. They just don't make this move. We can hate it all we want, or we can love him all we want, but they just don't make this move. But I hope it works out. Like I said, I hope it works out. So I hope it works out. I love Cam. Think he's a Steeler through and through. But that doesn't mean we have to pay him until he retires. That's all I'm saying. Doesn't mean you have to pay him until the man retires. And it's just it. So let's see. My man John, what's going on, John? Ayuk was a media discussion point used for attendance time. The YouTube folks were just echo. Yes, John. We talked about this. Yes, that's all it was. It was all for media fodder. He was never coming. He was never going anywhere. Anywhere. You know, he sang that sob story. Remember, what was it? Oh, they don't want me no more. Oh, come on, man. Shut up. We get it. You're trying to drive the price up. Good for you. Like I said, he used the Steelers as a side piece. Good for him. So, I don't know. I'm just not feeling the move. That's all. Not mad. I'm not going to be too mad. Look, we got a season to play. We got a season to play. And I don't have to agree. You know what I'm saying? You, anybody, we don't have to agree with the move. Doesn't mean that it won't work. Doesn't mean it can't blow up in our face. Doesn't mean any of that. So, doesn't mean any of that. But what it does mean is, I don't know. I think it's just a little foolish. But we'll get through it. We'll get through it, people. We'll get through it. Like I said, Ben Skoranek move. Don't be surprised if he doesn't play on Sunday. Big body, good route runner, can block. Don't be surprised if he doesn't play. And I won't be mad if he plays. You know, Steelers are going to try to run the football. This is a good find. A good find. So he's on the practice squad, but as we know, practice squad stuff is not the same thing as it was 5 years ago. Those guys can move up on a week-to-week basis. And I think this might be one of those cases where he gets activated to the roster and somebody either gets waived or gets moved down. So we'll see. We will see. So let's see. What else we got? Watch Wilson versus Fields will be continuous media topic until one leaves or both flames out. I mean, that one, I don't know if I agree with, John. Let me put it back up. I don't know if I agree with that one. Because if Wilson plays well, then there'll be no talk about Fields getting on the field. I think there's a bunch of talk about it now because, we haven't seen it. But if Russ goes out there and plays well or plays okay, I'm not even saying well, if he just plays okay, then nobody will be able to talk about how Justin Fields needs to get on the field. I wrote an article today for thenoise.com. By the way, you guys go check that out. It's literally thenoise.com, and it'll be out tomorrow, talking about, does there need to be a Justin Fields package? Hell no. No, there doesn't. Because my thing is, if Justin Fields needed a package, he would have won the job. That's number one. He had an opportunity to have a Justin Fields package. He didn't win the job. So that's number one. Number two, we brought him here to basically try to resurrect his career. And you know how you can best resurrect your career is by standing on the sidelines and learning. He never got an opportunity to do that in Chicago. He never got an opportunity to learn from a pro, a guy that's borderline Hall. I think Russ is a Hall of Famer, but some people will argue that point, but that's not the point here. He never got an opportunity to learn. Well, now he gets that opportunity. That doesn't mean that, hey, we're on the goal line and we're not going to run, like a Taysom Hill quarterback or something like that, a little wildcat, something on the goal line. Yeah, that would make some sense. But we're not going to put him in, at the start of the second quarter because we need to get Justin Fields on the field and give him a series. No, absolutely not. No Justin Fields package. There doesn't need to be a Justin Fields package. He had his opportunity, and it didn't work out. He didn't win the job. Now, whether you think he should have won the job or that's something different. But if he's not out there, no. So, and here's a good point. Justin is our best athlete. You're 100% right. Then change positions. If that's what we're saying. Hey, you know what? We got to get our best athlete out there, because being the best athlete don't make you the best quarterback. It does not do that. So do we want the best quarterback for our football team to be out there, or do we want our best athlete? And I'm not saying you, JJ. I'm just saying in general, because that's the pushback. I get it. So Justin Fields doesn't get a package. He gets a play. There's a huge difference. He doesn't get, the start of the second quarter, we're going to put Justin Fields out there for a series to see what happens. No. We get on the goal line, he gets a play. Okay. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. That would be the difference. And like I said, I love the fact that he is our best athlete. There's no if, ands, or buts. He's the best athlete on the team. But if he ain't the best quarterback, then he can't play quarterback. And there's a huge difference. My man Jake says, off topic, any word on Roman Wilson? He's back at practice. He did some stuff at practice. I don't think he's going to play this week, but I think he's on track to play next week. And I know a lot of people will say, well, man, he didn't start. He's not on the PUP list. Maybe he should have been. And I think that's the reason why. If he was going to miss 4 games, I think the Steelers, obviously, they would have put him on it. But I think he's going to be back next week. I think he will be back next week. And he might play this week. Who the hell knows? But that might be why they signed Skoranek, because Roman Wilson's not going to be out there. So we'll see. Good question, though. Good statement. So, my man John again, the young O-line should focus on the QB traits. On one QB traits and tendencies. Yeah, you're right. They got enough on their plate. Their plate is full. But you know what? The O-line can't really do that because quarterbacks get hurt all the time. They get hurt all the time. So they just need to block. And I get what you're saying, and it does make sense. But, yeah, they just need to block. Just block. And whoever's out there, you got to block for them. And that's it. Know who's in your huddle and block for them. Look, they get paid a lot of money to do a lot of different things. You just got to do a lot of different things. Whether it's one quarterback or another quarterback, and one plays one way, one plays another. I get it, but life ain't fair. Life ain't fair. So, life is just not fair. But we'll see. We'll see. I didn't like what Tomlin had to say about Beanie Bishop today. I did not like it. Oh well. But we'll see. We will see. All right, man. I'm going to shut this one down for today. I appreciate everybody being in here. Like I said, just needed to get this one out, talk about it a little bit, the Cam signing, where I was at with it. It is what it is. He signed. I don't necessarily agree, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Thought the money could have been spent somewhere else. And I know people are going to confuse that with saying, well, this late in the game, who were you going to get? Well, the money was always there. Could have got somebody anywhere. So, money was always there. It didn't just rapidly appear somewhere and they paid them now. They've had it. They could have spent it on other people earlier in the free agency process. That's all I'm saying, people. So, either way, we appreciate you all being in here, man. Thank you guys again. Steelers Almighty. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe if you haven't already here on YouTube. Anywhere on social media you see Steelers Almighty, make sure that you subscribe to us. And if you like audio version, make sure you subscribe anywhere that you can get a podcast. You will find Steelers Almighty. Until next time, like I said, podcast coming out tomorrow. Make sure you guys tune in. We'll have a premiere tomorrow, 7 Central, 8 Eastern time tomorrow. Make sure you guys are in there. We'll be in there checking you guys out, talking to you. We'll have on Friday, we are going to have our first of the year. We're going to have basically it's not the pregame show, but basically it's going to be, the word is just running from me right now. But basically we're going to scout the game. That's what we're going to do. So, and we'll have that out for you on Friday. And then lo and behold on Sunday, man, pre-game, post-game. I can't wait. I cannot wait. So appreciate you guys. I will holler at you soon. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow. We'll holler at you then. Aloha.